No skateboarding here. It's all about surfing. In quarterfinal number 3, Andy Irons, Bobby Martinez.
Well, there you go.
Mundaka.
Looked like Bobby paddling, but opting not to go as the former world champion Andy Irons up in red, and a nice big snap on the open face for Andy Irons, and another little floater section as Bobby Martinez out the back, but nonetheless Andy Irons up and riding still on the right. Nice little foam climb and another little roundhouse before opting to kick out. And not a bad score for the former world champion Andy Irons to start off this heat number 3 quarterfinal.
And we shall see what the judges give as a score. But first up, we're going to watch a live action replay for First of Yellow from Santa Barbara, California. Potential 2006 ASP Foster's ASP World Tour Rookie of the Year, Bobby Martinez.
Well, there you go.
Coming up in just a few seconds. As you can see right now, Andy Irons battling out.
Andy Irons.
Meanwhile, scores coming in from that first exchange. Going to be a 6.0 for AI and a 3.67 for Bobby Martinez. So, Dino, you can give us a little comparative commentating on this exchange as we check out First of Yellow, Bobby Martinez.
Well, looks like Bobby was on a pretty decent-looking wave. Nice snap off the top for Robert Martinez as he rounds his section and kind of blasts that second section. Wow, that was a pretty exciting maneuver from Bobby Martinez, and I'm not quite sure what happened here. It looked like he might have went out the back on this turn, and well, nonetheless, that would have been a pretty big score had he have beached that wave there, Dave. Pretty nice surfing out the back for Robert J. Martinez.
Well, and speak of the devil, here he comes once again. Bobby up and riding. First snap off the top, throws the tail, went down. As you watch Andy paddle back out, here's a replay of Andy's first wave, a 6.0.
Well, if you watch AI here, he's up and riding, zipping down the line, and right here, he's nice little snap off the top there. Nice little hack into this next section. Nice little floater bounce, kind of projecting off that into the flats to assure his entry into this next section. Never really unloaded, on those first 2 turns, but this one he kind of, digs into a little bit more and kind of almost catches a little bit, but nonetheless, great surfing from Andy Irons. The conditions are changing and the waves are getting very fat, as you can see. Most of the turns are cutbacks, and right there, really good, quick rebound on that roundhouse for Andy Irons, a nice, smooth kick out. Great surfing from Andy Irons as the judges liked it, and they rewarded him with a 6.0. As you can see, a great shot of Kelly Slater, our current world champion, and look at the crowd. Look at the crowd get him.
And we're going to cut back out the back to the action. Bobby Martinez up and riding on his backhand. First carve back into the pocket off the top. Another snap there, Dino.
Wow, nice series of maneuvers from Robert J. Martinez. Great surfing from him as he's kind of trying to find his footing, maybe hit the reform section here.
And he's trying to connect to the inside. Didn't want to do it for him. Andy, in the meantime, caught one out the back, but went down immediately. So Andy still out the back, holding priority. Bobby only needed a 2.34 on that one to take the lead. Of course, Andy only having 1 wave score. So still in the early going here, 26 minutes remaining. But Andy out in front. Bobby keeping the pressure on, but he's going to have to work hard because the tide is coming in. The conditions are getting fatter and fatter as we go along. And, it looks like, as usual, Parco pretty much had the best waves of the day for his heat. And, and Kelly did just what he needed to get done. Just what he needed to do to get the job done in the last heat. There, once again, being congratulated by Stephen Bell, or Belly, Quicksilver Europe surf team manager. Passing off that Quicksilver hat. Make sure you get the logos on the screen. Rule number 1 of surf marketing, and a 5.0 for that last wave of Bobby Martinez. So second is now red, Andy Irons, but only needing a 2.67, and he has priority. Let's take a look at that 5.0 from Bobby.
Well, here you go, off the bottom, here for Bobby Martinez. Nice little carve on the open face, little snap, whip out of it. Really relaxed surfing from Bobby Martinez as he, kind of bounces off that first section roundhouse there, and nice little blast off there. Timed that one perfect. That little teeny whitewater, he was right into it, and here he kind of snaps that thing. And I think this wave, had he have made the inside section, he might have been looking at a little bit better score. Unfortunately for him, it never really materialized on the inside here, but nonetheless, great surfing on the outside there for Bobby Martinez.
And good enough for a 5.0. Let's go over to GT for a quick interview with our 7-time world champ, King Kelly.
Mr. Kelly Slater, buen trabajo.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
So, hey, mushy mushy. Okay, so a methodical heat, not like a wow heat, but doing what you need to do.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can. So mushy out there on the face. They look good because they're kind of running, but then they really flat with the high tide, and they're gonna struggle to hit the lip out there. You got to just do like horizontal cutbacks. So it's kind of tough right now.
And it's so crazy how, we were kind of standing in that little box before you surfed up here, and Joel and Mixie, kind of a non-stop wave fest, and then as soon as you hit the water, it kind of slows down.
Yeah.
How do you pace yourself to stop and start on that?
No, I saw that coming. I saw that the better ones were kind of a little bit smaller sets that were deep on the bank. I thought I'll just sit a little deeper than Tommy. That was my game plan. And Tom got one, looked like a full bomb, and he went to do his first turn. And I thought he was going to close out on him, and then it just backed off, and it got steep. And then right when he did his first turn, it just backed off completely, and he sort of dug his rail and fumbled, and then ended up falling on it. And he paddled back out. He's like, God, how fat was that wave? It's just flattening out when you go to hit the lip.
Okay, now, a little bit of a contrast. You walk up the beach, and everybody loves you. And then you walk inside here, and there's like 4 now that are kind of eyeball.
I bet there's more than that.
No.
They sent a Quicksilver event, bro.
Easy.
I'm just messing. Come on, we gotta have a little fun.
Always, right? But it's fun how into it the fans are here.
Yeah, no, I'm really proud. Like I said, the Spanish fans have just. It kind of blown me away this week because it's the amount of people who come down. Like somebody said, I guess there's a holiday, so that's a little bit probably adding to the crowds. But
Well, here we go. Oh, I believe that was Andy who went down. Well, I'll tell you what.
Well, I lied. He's in the lip out there.
Okay, you do your rest of your business. Get out of your wetsuit. Do what you got to do. We'll see you tomorrow, mister.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right. So, boys, back to you with some replays, huh?
Oh, that's great words from the current world champion, Kelly Slater. Looking really relaxed and just happy. It's great to see.
More than relaxed. I think that's what it takes to actually win. If you have the talent, you can get to that level. Afterwards, it's really just about finding the right headspace to evolve in, and Kelly Slater is evolving to another level, possibly all the way up to his 8th world title with that one. Yeah, looking super relaxed, and especially if he keeps on winning his heats, can relax himself all the way to the final here, Dino, into his 8th world title. Let's check out this replay from Andy Irons.
Well, I think as the tide comes in, this bank is going to favor the frontsiders. Big, gigantic aerial. Wow, that was pretty exciting, and looked like he had it, and unfortunately for Andy, he came unstuck right towards the end of that maneuver. But nonetheless, as the tide rolls in really high at the moment, you got to think Bobby Martinez might be looking for a left with this bank so high and so deep. It's cutback, and frontside on a shouldery type of wave, you can kind of fake it and kind of snap those turns, but backside it's a little bit more difficult to find lift. As you can see. Bobby Martinez opting to paddle underneath that wave, and Andy swinging it and up and riding and actually kicking out Andy Irons.
Well, Dino, you're absolutely right on those calls that the right is fattening out, the left maybe offering up a little bit more here. Very similar tidal conditions to when we started this morning with the last few heats of round 3, but it doesn't look like Bobby Martinez is having any trouble on this right-hander backside right here, just taking it to this wave and Bakio, and at the same time to the 3-time former world champion. This one's definitely going to go into his score line, and he's going to put some pressure on Andy Dino.
Oh, man, you got to think that was pretty committed surfing from Bobby Martinez.
Wow.
Slammed that closeout right on dry sand, but wow, as Kelly had mentioned in his interview, the second wave of the set and deeper and smaller on the bank allows more of an opportunity. As you can see, Bobby's wave really doubling up on the inside there. He got a really good series of maneuvers off on that wave, and I think that's going to be a really good score. Obviously it's not our call up here, but the judges make that call, but nonetheless, that was a really good series of maneuvers, and as we watch the replay, Dave, why don't you take us through this?
All right, well, a little bit of problem with the chop at the beginning. No problem off the top there on his first turn. Another brilliant carve snapped at the end back into the pocket there from Bobby. Looks like his Al Merrick Channel Island surfboard working just as well as Kelly's in that last heat, and that was the money turn. How is that, Dino? Completely upside down on that turn as he carved it back into the pocket and manages to just pop over these 2 sections. Nice little whitewater floater there, and sets this thing up on the inside. And man, if he had managed to pull this re-entry, I mean, the wave's already pitching out over his head, smacks it off the top, and just comes unstuck at the end, but good for a 7.0. So Andy out the back, and very lucky to be only needing a 6.01 off of that last wave of the kid out of Santa Barbara, Bobby Martinez. And here's the answer from our 3-time world champ.
Well, it looks like Andy Irons opting to go left and going straight up out the back. The young Kawhi, and another big blast on the closeout section there. And wow, upside down surfing from the former world number 1, Andy Irons, bidding for his 4th world title, Dave. Not letting up whatsoever, upside down on that second turn. It's going to be really interesting to see that score. Really committed surfing from Andy Irons on that second turn, upside down, straight through the lip. And, I think he knows that he has to put it all on the line. As you can see, the scores drop. It's going to be just under what he needs. He's still going to need a 6.01, but nonetheless, brilliant surfing from...
5-4 on that last one from Andy, and... well, we thought we were going to replay there. There's an overview of the lineup. And here it is once again, the replay of that last wave from AI, a 5.4 while he was looking for a 6.01.
Well, here you go. Andy Irons opting to go left to hopefully get a little bit more lip on his waves as he snaps that first turn. Really committing to that first turn. I mean, really big bottom turn off the top combo. And this one's even more critical. Upside down. Blowing the tail out. I mean, wow. Let's break that down. That was serious surfing from Andy Irons, and wow.
Well, we have the benefit of the slow motion replay on that one. The judges do not. I think if they may have been able to watch that last turn on replay, they might have bumped it up a half a point or 2.
That was really critical surfing.
Check us out again.
To all you spectators around the world watching on the line, that is what you call serious surfing. Andy Irons throwing it all out on that one, just upside down, blowing the tail out.
Radical committed surfing, the most critical part of the wave. Surfing to the criteria and blowing the criteria away on that one.
I mean, he didn't do many maneuvers on that wave, but both those turns were really critical and really crisp. Not really digging the rail on any part of that wave. Andy Irons in complete form on that wave, Dave.
Andy absolutely ripped that one. Too bad there just wasn't room for one more maneuver in there to really show the judges that deserved to be more than a 6. And of course, you don't want to start any online discussions about judging or the judges should have this or that or another thing, just to throw it out there that there is a discussion on the books to perhaps allow the judges the video replay, at least in the WCT events next year or possibly in 2 years' time, so they can take a look at it. As it is right now, they do have a screen up in the box that lets head judge Perry Hatchett check out the action with the 30-second delay that you do get over the internet, but the judges themselves are not allowed to use that to review waves before they put their scores in. So, things could change a little bit, but it's way better than figure skating where we're at. There are no Russian or Japanese judges out there. It's all about surfing countries. They all know what's up. And once again, in figure skating, there are Japanese judges on the ASP. They do a great job, but this figure skating analogy. Anyways, back to the action in the water. 14 minutes, 40 seconds remaining. Bobby has a 5-0 and a 7-0. Andy has a 6-0 and a 5-4. Andy needs 6-0-1, and this is becoming the critical heat of the contest in the world title race, Dino. And if Andy loses here, that's basically adios muchachos for Senor Irons up against Senor Martinez. What do you reckon?
Well, here goes Andy Irons out the back in red, as you can see on the screen. Looks like he's going right in, a nice big snap off the top for the young Hawaiian Andy Irons, and another big blast. And very committed surfing, going for broke on that second turn, Andy Irons. Unfortunately coming unstuck, but wow, committed surfing. As we can see, Bobby Martinez on the screen up and riding, currently carrying a 5.0. We'll have to wait and see how this wave pans out. Nice big snap on the open face there
in front of him, man.
Oh! Ooh, looks like his nerves might have got to him on that one, Dave. That wave had 6-7 written all over it, and unfortunately for Bobby, his first, all the way from his first turn, he never really looked confident on that wave.
No, he might have had a little bit sketch foot positioning. We'll have a look at the replay. It also could have been, Dino, that one was running down the line in front of him, and he could have just very well been looking too far down the line at the oncoming sections to see what he was going to do instead of concentrating on the section that he had in front of him and on what he actually was in the middle of doing.
Absolutely. The conditions are very difficult with the high tide. It's the waves are quite fat at moments, and then they suck up and just pitch. As you can see the replay here, as Bobby Martinez takes off down the line, and right here he does a nice little foam climb, kind of kicks the tail. Actually, surprisingly enough, he had a little bit of tail release out the back on that first foam climb as he hits this open face right here. And right here he kind of looks like he digs a little bit, but nonetheless straight into a little snap out of it. And right here, he, this maneuver is the money turn as he blasts the lip, and he just comes unglued. And after watching that replay, he looked pretty on that wave actually.
No, I think he was. I mean, we were on the long shot before for the live action, but on that one, no, I think he just got caught up. He was already concentrating on what he was going to do on that next section, and well, did not pay off for him because he was looking to better a 5.0. If he'd done that, then it could be real nail in the coffin time for Andy Irons. As it is, 12 minutes remaining. Andy needing a 6-0-1, highly doable. Andy can get 6-1s in his sleep. And Kelly's still down in front signing autographs, it looks like.
Well, it looks like we have Andy Irons at the back, Dave. Nice big blast off the top into reversal.
Perfect re-entry reverse, and then the thing just closed out on him. I think everyone on the beach and in the box wanted Andy to pull that one off. It looked like Slater was upstairs right next to the judges. What's going on with that? Well, we don't want to start any more. Don't want to start any more little polemics here, but Kelly just hanging out up by the judges, maybe going, hey Perry, how'd you like my last heat? Well, don't bother watching Andy out there. Anyways, back to the action in the water with Dino Andino. We got Andy Irons, Bobby Martinez out the back, sets out on the horizon. Dino, what do you reckon, mate?
Plenty of opportunities for these surfers to ride waves, and the swell seemed like it picked up quite a bit from earlier. As you can see, sets out the back, still pouring in, and we are approaching the high tide, and it's still consistent. So once again, we're blessed with surf, and once again, Mike Parsons, the contest director, making the right call and getting us, almost through the quarterfinals. I'm not quite sure if they've made a call to send the next heat out or not, but from the looks of that last set, I wouldn't be surprised if they do.
Well, you'd have to think they'd send it out. I mean, it doesn't get dark here until about 7:30, 8 in the evening. It's only 7 o'clock local time. So realistically, we should have time to finish this thing before it goes dark, but it is going to be kind of pushing it a little bit as we are in this bay here with the mountains out the back behind us. And you can already see on your screens the first colors of sunset starting to shine off the ocean surface here at Bakio. Just under 10 minutes remaining in this one. Our high tide is not for another 2 hours, so in our tide window, more or less still have time to get it out there. It's just going to be a question of overall actual visibility, it looks like. So we can still see colors pretty well, so can the judges. And we hope for us as well as for you guys that we're going to be able to get quarterfinal number 4 between Taj Burrow and Dean Morrison out of the way. We know we still have a title race on our hands. Parko and Joel Parkinson and Kelly Slater coming up tomorrow in semifinal number 1. And still waiting for our contestants in semifinal number 2. But Parko and Kelly will still be battling for the title tomorrow, as could be Andy Irons and Taj Burrow if they manage to do away with Bobby Martinez and Dean Morrison in quarterfinals 3 and 4. The answer in quarterfinal number 3 in 8 minutes and 45 seconds, and quarterfinal number 4 in just about 40 minutes. So Dino, whoa.
Well, there you go. Wow.
Wow.
This is
absolutely, dude.
This is the big leagues. I mean, you're looking out in the water at Bobby Martinez and Andy Irons in a very pivotal heat for the world title bid of Andy Irons here. And, you know, I think Bobby Martinez is pretty close to the top 5 as well. I mean, you give him a good result, and he'll be right in the top 5, you know. Earlier in the year, he was
third in the world.
No, he was second.
Second in the world.
He was barely below Kelly Slater after the Fiji event. So, nonetheless, yeah, this is the big leagues, and there's a lot at stake as we round out the quarterfinals here of the Billabong Mundaka Pro.
All right, and just a quick shout-out. We'll shout out afterwards right now. Andy Irons, big gaff off the top, Dino. Still looking for that 6-0-1.
Well, that was a pretty vicious first turn there. Really committing to that. It was big wraparound snap, and Andy Irons, you know, you'd have to think that's really close. I mean, either way,
little chop hop.
That was really committed surfing. That was a really fluent, big wrap carve on the open face, and his second turn was really vertical. But you know, his body gestures after the wave was over kind of tells me he didn't think he got the score.
He knows that he didn't get the score on that one. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been doing any chop hop 180 at the end of it. 4.23 on that last red for Andy Irons, and Bobby Martinez just on fire here.
Out the back, Bobby Martinez blasting that third turn there. The youngster out of Santa Barbara, California, and rookie here on the WCT Tour as he's bouncing into the inside section looking for a inside connection, weaving his board back and forth, keeping his board speed going, and looks like he's going to try to... Oh, wow, that was a pretty... critical little entry into that double up there right on dry sand.
And here's a quick replay of Andy's last wave.
Big bottom turn right here. Really critical off the top. Snap right there for Andy Irons. Perfect technique and style on that. Really critical surfing as he's straight into another turn. No breaks in his bottom turn through those two maneuvers. The bottom turn that connected those two turns was very crucial. Perfectly timed, you might say.
Perfect.
And here he does a nice little roundhouse, and wow, that was beautiful surfing for Andy Irons as he does a little chop hop there to finish off that wave. And Bobby Martinez's last wave was pretty critical entry into that double up.
Yeah, let's take a look at this one, Dino. It's going to be close to bettering his second best wave score, so this will be important.
Well, there you go. He betters his score as you see the replay here. This is the money turn on this wave. He snaps that turn right there, releasing his tail out the back of the wave, throwing plenty of spray, Dave. Bobby Martinez definitely feeling it in this heat at the moment.
All right, so Bobby putting the pressure on Andy. Andy now needing a 6.41 as we come into the last 5 minutes of this one. And just watching the end of this replay, let me say once more that my comment about the Russian and other nationality judges was a reference to figure skating, and that our current ASP judging panel is way more unbiased than the judging panels in certain other sports like figure skating. All of the judges that work for the ASP have been trained by the ASP and are highly qualified. The last thing I would want to do is put down anyone on the ASP judging panel. So just so you got that straight, back to the contest and the heat in the water. Quarterfinal number 3, Andy Irons in the hole a bit, looking for a 6.41 and trying to just chip his way out of that sand trap, kind of like me on that judge's comment. And but I'm not in it for a world title of announcing, I can tell you that one for sure. Bobby Martinez trying to climb his way back in the top 5, and right now having a pretty good shot at it, Dino. 4 minutes remaining, and Bobby Martinez has got AIs back to the wall, dude. What do you reckon?
Well, you know, the tide is rushing in quickly, and as you can see, Andy Irons in red sitting there waiting. You know, you got to think with only 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, time is running out for the young Kauaian, and this is a very pivotal heat for Andy Irons' title bid in 2006 here.
Here at the Billabong Pro Mundaka. Thank you, Justin, for that one. I like that. Billabong Pro Mundaka with Bakio today. Billabong Pro Mundaka. That was great, man. Your little comments almost as great as our announcing. Ha-ha. And we'll hold the semis and finals in the evening so you can watch. That's my mama writing in. No, we won't. They'll be during optimal swell and weather conditions during the day tomorrow. There they are, AI and Bobby Martinez in the water. 3 minutes remaining. And someone wants to know, hey, Dino, they reckon that Andy's paid us off to give him all these props over the internet. But no, that's not true. And don't worry, the surfers in the water can't hear a word that we're saying over the internet. They have Nuno Jonet, a very experienced and unbiased Portuguese announcer, out there babbling off in English, French, Portuguese, Spanish, and any other language you'd want, and he's not paid by anybody. So don't you worry, everything going on in the water is all hunky-dory and kosher as it gets. And 2 minutes and 25 seconds remaining here for Andy Irons. Pressure is on our former 3-time world champion from Kauai.
Well, as you see, the surfer in red, Andy Irons, looking to get deeper on the sandbank as the tide rolls in quickly, and time is running out for the former world number 1, Andy Irons, as the Robert J. Martinez in yellow is currently leading the heat, and Andy Irons needing a 6.41 with just under 2 minutes remaining. A lot at stake here, Dave, in this heat, and you know, as it looks like it could be a set out the back, we'll have to wait and see, but there could be a couple more opportunities for Andy Irons to answer the call here.
Well, I hope so for Andy. You know, he's one of the stalwarts on tour. Of course, we have our little California sentimentality for Bobby Martinez. We have 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining. And all pressure is on the shoulder of our 3-time world champ, Andy Irons. He does have priority, which means he does have any choice of the waves in the lineup. But I think if Kelly Slater would be wishing for anyone left in the quarters to bow out today, it would be Andy Irons. And his wish is about to be granted unless Huey and Mother Nature throw up one last wicked set. With 1 minute remaining, there he is, standing right next to the judging tower, the entrance to the judging tower. He's wishing that horn right in front of him to blow as quickly as possible, because he knows if Andy doesn't make this heat, Andy is out of the race for the 2006 world title, and it will become a 3-man race. And apparently, this is very interesting, and Andy's probably going to be a bit gutted. We're not going to be running quarterfinal number 4 this afternoon, so Taj Burrow gets to kind of digest all the action from this afternoon and sleep on it for a good night's rest. Now, Dino, it seems like there's a medium-sized set, only 20 seconds remaining. Andy has to get a 6-4-1 on this, and he's going switch foot. So there you go. You know, Andy said Kelly's so on fire this year, I don't think any of us could touch him. And, he's just kind of showed the same thing to everyone there. You know what? Hey, this year is all about Kelly Slater.